So today, we're jumping into the really fascinating work of Dr. Joseph Delaney and his unified model of human potential. Think of it like this, a blueprint for your own inner world, one that shows how all your different abilities are connected by one single powerful hub.
Okay, so we're living in this crazy high-tech world, right? Our phones, our devices, they're always pushing us to be smarter, faster, but, and this is a big but, what's the cost? Are we actually upgrading ourselves, or are we kind of fragmenting, breaking ourselves into these little disconnected pieces? Well, according to the model we're looking at today, the answer is all about understanding our own internal wiring. The idea is that we have this one central hub, the heart, that pulls together 12 different human potentials. So here's what we're going to do. First, we'll build out this blueprint. Then, we'll look at how it runs on autopilot. And finally, the best part, we'll figure out how we can actually take the driver's seat.
Yeah, this really gets to the heart of it. The big problem, the dilemma, is that the same tech that's supposed to connect us can actually throw our whole inner system out of whack. I love this analogy. It's like you get the fastest, most powerful processor for your computer, but you completely forget to install the cooling fan. What happens? It overheats. It leads to this inner fragmentation, a totally dysregulated nervous system.
And here's the real danger, right? We get super smart, technically brilliant, but we start to lose touch with the stuff that makes us, well, human. Our connection to our own bodies, our relationships, our moral compass. See, when we let our devices manage our attention and our emotions, that central hub, the thing that holds it all together, it just gets weaker. We end up being augmented, sure, but we're also diminished.
Okay, so that's the problem. Let's talk about the solution. The whole idea here is to see the heart as the central coordinator. It's the one thing that can bring our whole system back into harmony, connecting all 12 of our different potentials.
So this one isn't just your physical heart, the pump. It's what's called the heart-brain hub, this amazing coherent field. Seriously, think of it as the conductor of your inner orchestra. It's constantly sending signals up to your brain through pathways like the vagus nerve, and those signals literally shape how you feel, what you pay attention to, and what you think is important. It's the master synchronizer for your body, heart, and mind.
And if the heart is the conductor, then these are the instruments in the orchestra, the 12 human potentials. You might have heard of Howard Gardner's multiple intelligences. Well, this model kind of expands on that. We're talking about a full spectrum of abilities. You've got your somatic kinesthetic intelligence, how you move your body, your logical mathematical side, but also your interpersonal awareness, your moral compass. I mean, look at this list. Each one is a unique instrument, and the heart-brain hub is what gets them all playing together.
All right, let's get into it. We're going to really map this thing out, layer by layer. We'll start at the very bottom with our deep, unconscious body stuff and work our way all the way up to our conscious thoughts so you can see exactly how it all connects.
Okay, what makes this model so cool is how it connects stuff we can all feel, body, heart, and mind, with some really deep science. There's this framework called Distributed Adaptive Control, or DEC. Don't worry about the name. Here's what it means. It's basically a map of how we process information in layers. It starts with the raw data from our body, then moves to the heart, which is amazing at recognizing patterns, and then all the way up to the mind, where we spin those patterns into the stories we tell ourselves.
And this is where it gets really wild. These 12 potentials aren't just abstract ideas. They seem to be physically wired into us. So check this out. Modern anatomy gives us the 12 cranial nerves. You could think of them as the wiring harness for our senses and expressions. But then you look at an ancient system like Chinese medicine, and what do you find? 12 principal meridians, these deep energy currents. It's just incredible, right? You have these two totally different ways of looking at the body, one ancient and one modern, and they both land on this idea of 12 distinct physical pathways.
Okay, we've got the blueprint. Now, how does the machine actually run? We're going to trace the flow of information here, from all the automatic stuff happening beneath the surface right up to the conscious choices that make you, you.
And this is probably the most important thing to get. Almost all of this is happening unconsciously. It's on autopilot. All 12 of your potential channels are constantly scanning your world, looking for patterns in a person's voice, in their face, in a situation. It's your heart-brain hub that acts as the filter, deciding, okay, this pattern is important, and it promotes it up to your conscious mind. And that's what becomes your thoughts, your stories, your reality.
Which leads to this really mind-bending scientific view of what consciousness even is. So, according to doc theory, it's not this thing that's on all the time. Instead, it says,
Consciousness is a transient, autonomous memory of the agent-environment nexus. Okay, whoa, big words. What does that mean? It just means consciousness is like a temporary snapshot, a quick selfie the system takes of itself in the world to figure out what's going on. It's basically the highlight reel of all that unconscious work we just talked about.
Okay, so if our state, how coherent that heart-brain hub is, determines literally everything, then the big question is, how do we stop being just a passenger? How do we get in the driver's seat and actually start conducting our own inner orchestra?
Yeah, this is it. This is where we move from theory to practice. If our modern world is pulling us apart, what can we actually do to put ourselves back together?
All right, here are 4 really practical things you can do to strengthen that heart-brain hub. First up, coherent breathing. It's a super simple technique, just breathing at a specific rhythm, and it physically stabilizes your nervous system. It's wild. Number 2, regenerative emotions. This means actively choosing to feel things like gratitude or compassion. They act like powerful safety signals for your entire body. Third, we've got embodied practices. Get out of your head. Things like dancing, singing, even just stretching with awareness. They wake up those channels you might be ignoring. And finally, reflective practice. Think journaling or just taking a quiet moment to check in. It helps you bring more of those 12 potentials into your conscious awareness.
And look, this isn't just self-help stuff for you as an individual. Think bigger. What if we redesigned our whole world around this idea? In schools, instead of just brain-only teaching, what if we taught kids how to regulate their state first? We could unlock all 12 of their potentials. Or in medicine, imagine if a doctor's ability to manage their own state, to co-regulate with the patient, was considered a core medical skill. It would change everything.
So if there's one thing you take away from all this, it's this. Everything comes back to that central hub. When we learn to stabilize our state, when we get that heart-brain connection coherent, the entire wheel of our potential just starts to turn. We become more whole, more capable, more us.
So I want to leave you with a question to think about. Take another look at that wheel of 12 potentials. Be honest with yourself. Which one of you have been letting gather dust? Which part of your own amazing blueprint is calling out for a little bit of attention right now?